On April 19, 2024, Taylor Swift released The Tortured Poets Department. The public's immediate expectation was a standard record targeting specific former boyfriends. Listeners braced for a familiar narrative of betrayal and vengeance. They looked for the tropes of a woman seeking retribution through catchy hooks and pointed lyrics. Then, a surprise second volume dropped hours later, 31 tracks in total. A release of this magnitude suggests a level of psychological education that far exceeds the demands of a standard breakup anthem. Within 24 hours, the album broke the record for the most streamed release in Spotify history in a single day. Fans texted lyrics to each other at 3 a.m., connecting with music that felt uncharacteristically raw and unguarded. The massive scale of the tracklist and the dark emotional weight point to something specific. Swift buried a portrait of emotional manipulation, obsession, and self-destruction inside these songs. To understand the record, look at the timeline. For years, Swift lived in a relationship with British actor Joe Alwyn. To the public, this was a safe, quiet, and perfect harbor. By early 2023, that 6-year partnership ended in total silence. Almost immediately, she moved into a chaotic pivot with the 1975 frontman Matty Healy. Fans were horrified by the rebound, viewing it as a period of reckless, unguarded behavior. Old podcast clips of Healy resurfaced, but Swift appeared genuinely unbothered by the controversy. Then came Travis Kelce. The media narrative flipped instantly, replacing the controversial rebound with a highly celebrated, universally approved public romance. While audiences followed this erratic string of headlines, Swift was quietly writing. The lyrics she committed to paper during that chaos tell a story that contradicts the neat timeline accepted by the public. The track, The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, opens with a direct question. Were you sent by someone who wanted me dead? This clinical language serves as a formal verdict on an assault on her identity. She describes a partner who attended her shows and wore her favorite things, mimicking her life. Her lyrics frame these actions as a strategy, a performance of closeness designed to deceive. She asks what it feels like to be a collector of cages. The final line accuses him of doing anything to trap her, documenting a long, patient effort to shrink her identity. If that song is the verdict, So Long London presents the crime scene. Swift sings about the exhaustion of trying to drill the safe. She details years spent trying to pry open an emotional vault that her partner kept locked. She parallels Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, implying her relationship rotted privately. Despite her perseverance, her partner made the failure feel entirely her fault. These lyrics fundamentally rewrite the peaceful 6-year romance. They provide a terrifying documentation of long-term emotional gaslighting. The album takes a turn with Florida. On the surface, the track carries a euphoric energy about escape. Florence Welch provides a feverish vocal backing. The actual lyrics describe Florida as a destination where you go to disappear entirely, highlighting the temptation to erase your identity to escape unbearable pain. Next is But Daddy I Love Him, which appears as a defiant response to the media backlash regarding her rebound relationship. A closer read exposes a darker reality. She sings about the sleazy nights where I worked myself to the bone, describing the physical toll of performing happiness. The relationship was a crisis wearing a love story's clothes. The controversial rebound era was a controlled breakdown. A person in a total freefall reached out for the nearest available hand just to escape a paralyzing numbness. Everything discussed so far assumes the album is aimed outward. There is a deeper layer to consider. What if the true subject isn't her former partners? For over a decade, Swift has occupied the dual role of protagonist and victim. In this record, she shifts that framework, offering a brutal assessment of her own role in her suffering. In The Black Dog, she admits to watching an ex's location through a tracking app he forgot to turn off. She sees him enter a pub in London and refuses to close the app. Knowing it hurts her, she watches anyway. This is the behavior of someone actively choosing to prolong their own torture. This admission of self-sabotage shifts the entire project. By refusing to look away, Swift reveals that she is actively choosing to participate in her own destruction. This vulnerability has been building for years. She wrote about emotional dependency in Folklore, chronicled disconnection in Evermore, and bluntly stated, "I'm the problem" in Midnights. Across 4 distinct nodes, she has been building a psychological profile of a woman who has everything the world says she should want, yet remains entirely disconnected. The bravery of the album lies in her decision to document her own humiliating moments and 3 a.m. relapses. The Tortured Poets Department stands as a final confession of a woman who finally stopped failing herself.